So you might be wondering why you're isolated, why you're alone, and you have to understand that the way society is today is not meant for some people to be in. We live in a consciousness of control, of deception, of propaganda, and we live in a world full of lies and deceit and mockery and fakery and sinfulness. And some of you are fortunate enough to be pushed away from the society, because you have to understand that everything all around you is all artificial. In 100 years from now, we won't be here. In 100 years from now, everything around you is going to be turned into dust, and it's going to go back to its natural state, basically. And you're wondering, why am I so alone? Why is there's because God is preparing you for something. God has something for you in store, and it's not of this world. You're going to understand why you're alone. You're going to understand why you're isolated. You're going to become a complete different person than what you know yourself to be. You're going to become more mature. You're going to start weeding out all your fake friends, because they won't understand you anymore, because you're outside that system of brainwashing, media, and authority, and everything, this system of actors. Everyone is just acting, basically. And you have to understand that there's a holiness, higher purpose for you out there, and it's not of this world. And God is preparing you to He's preparing you so that He can reveal to you something special, something more than what this world has to offer. If you pay attention, 80% of the people, I would say 90% of the people, they're worshiping idols on TV, movies. They're worshiping things of this world. And once you see the world from outside, like I have seen a world where you see peace, you see goodness, you see nature, you see the beauties of the flowers and the fresh air, you see the beautiful things that God created, that's outside this vision of control, of mockery, of deception, of this artificial world that people have created, that they're living in. And it's fake. It's fake. It doesn't exist. So when you're isolated, you begin to see the world in a better way. For example, I started doing import and export because I wanted to help people have jobs, and importing things from China, from Mexico, for assembly lines all over the U.S. was great. Was a good journey that I had. It was full of isolation, just absolute isolation, and I learned my lesson. You see the world for different view. For example, I know all the franchises in all 50 states. I know who's importing what, who controls what. The central banks, they control everything. And people are just pushed down. And so every now and then somebody shows up and says, "Oh, I'm this person. I'm this title. I'm working for this company, for this corporation. I'm working for this and this and this and that." And for me, that's just like, Just, it doesn't matter. What really matters is what? It's on your heart. What really matters is what and how God sees you, how humble you are, how pure you are, and how you're afraid of Him, because He controls everything. He's out there. He's watching you. He knows who you are. And there's no way you can hide from Him. There's no way you can trick Him. And that's what really matters in this life. When God prepares you through isolation, there's a higher purpose for you out there. It's not your neighbor. It's not your friends. It's not your high school friends. Okay? None of them. None of them. If you're a woman out there, if you're a woman listening to this, and you're worried about looks of other women, you're worried about the latest style, the latest things, the latest, that's not living your life. It's not. The moment you stop caring about what people thinks of you and how you look, that's the moment you start living your life through God's way, through God's will. And the moment you humble yourself, the moment you accept your mistakes, the moment you put your head down and ask, please forgive me. The moment you create purity in your heart, the moment you create peace in your mind, the moment you see the beauty of nature and all the things that God created for you, that's the moment you start living your life. Then you start to be nice to other people, because when I look at people in public, it's like God created every single one of those people for a purpose, and evil is just trying to manipulate them and trying to get the best of them. And so I try to be as nice as possible to people, and it's just the brainwashing, the manipulation, the deception, the ego, the narcissism, the psychopath behavior that a lot of people have is what the evil of this world has done to them, because nobody's born with those traces. If you go to school to kids, you see just purity, love. It's just a child. Doesn't know any good, doesn't know any better. And for that child to turn into all these things that people are today, that tells me that evil is working 24 hours a day. It's working in people's families. It's working on people's household. It's working towards everything in order to flip those people to become pawns of evil. And so you have to ask God for forgiveness. You have to be there for Him. When He calls you, you have to be faithful to the Word. And when you're alone, when you're isolated, there's only going to be you and Him. And He has all the time in the world to teach you. And He's going to take every minute, every second of it to teach you a lesson. And you have to be ready for it. If you're alone right now, if you're isolated, don't be. Because you're just as close to God than you are to all those fake celebrity idol worshiping on TV. And so the greatest lesson I learned being isolated is that there's nobody above you but God. There's nobody who's going to judge you but God. There's nobody out there who's going to push you but God. And you have to put the hand in your heart And if you're isolated, if you're weak, if you're depressed, just put your hand in your heart, feel your heart beating, and say, Lord in heaven, I accept Jesus Christ as my Savior. Please forgive me for the wrong things I have done in this world. Continue to guide me in the right path, your path, for I am here for you, and I have accepted you in my heart, in my body, in my spirit. Please, Lord, protect me. I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be isolated any longer. Please, Father. And He will listen. He's good. He's out there. He's preparing somebody for you. But first you have to know. You have to accept your mistakes. You have to humble yourself. And you have to learn from your mistakes. And it takes a while, but eventually you learn. Eventually it clicks in your head. Eventually everything falls into place. And evil just goes running right through your ears like a coward. And when you're alone, if you're alone out there, you have a friend on here. Because I'm just as alone as you are, if you are in this world. There's many other people. And nobody in your church, not a friend of yours, is going to take you to heaven but Him. But Him. Okay? Not one person. So, I just want to say that no matter how alone and alienated you feel, no matter how distracted you are in your life, no matter where you are in this world, God is here. He's with you. Just reach out. Reach out. Reach out. Father, please. Hear my heart. He will. And He will always be there with you. In your moment of weakness, in your moment of sadness, in the moments of when life just throws everything at you, He's always going to be there. And He was always there for me in my moments of weakness, isolation, and my moments of homelessness. He was always there, protecting me, watching me. He was always there by my side. And He put me in many places of this world. I have been all over the world. I have been to Alaska, I have been to Spain, I have been to everywhere. I have been to London, I have been to just everywhere, South America, everywhere in this world. And there's not one better place in this world that I know of. There's not one good place in this world that I know of that isn't better than to be with God. He's loving, He's pure, and He's peaceful. And I hope He finds somebody out there for you. I hope He finds somebody out here for me. And if you're alone in this journey, I'm just as alone as you are. And There's gotta be more to the isolation. I know that there is. I know that God is out there, and He's gonna put the right people in my life when the moment comes, and I can't wait. Thank you. Bye.